Hi.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show where girls just want to have fun. And I come to you live from Crater Valley on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Thursday. Tempestuous Thursday. Yes, we return once again to the wonderful world of off-brand TED Talks for enlightenment and entertainment. And a couple other big words that start with E, I suppose. Expialidocious. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well on this beautiful Thursday evening. I think it's beautiful. It's kind of dark out right now. We've entered officially into that phase where it becomes pitch black after like 6 p.m. So I'm going to assume it's nice out. Who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening? Alex, or the Alexander. Good evening. Over on the X machine. Yes, I am simulcasting on X. If you happen to have an X account and you see the stream out over there, please do share it out. If for no other reason, let people know that I exist on the X machine, if they're not already following me on YouTube. So there you go. Advocatus Diaboli. Good evening. Keeverdam, hello. And thank you, Keeverdam, as always, for providing at the top of the chat box, guys, the link to the donation page for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Please take a look at that when you have the opportunity. If you can donate, please do so. But even if you can't, if you can share that out on social media, that would be appreciated. So thank you ahead of time for that. And thank you, Keeverdam, as always, for providing the link. Who else is here? Oh, the other Alexander. There's the X version of Alex. And then there's the YouTube Alexander. He's two Alexes in one. John Trioxin, good evening. Mike R, hello. Attack Alpaca, hello. Who else is here? Theater Wench Ginger, good evening. Morgan King, hello. Resolute Germ, hello. And thank you, Resolute Germ, for sharing the stream out on the X machine. Appreciate that. Robert Pincus, hello. Who else? Anybody else? Is everybody in? The Luke Skywalker, too. Glad you fixed the titles above the... Yeah, so this is... I didn't know how it was going to work the last time I set this up because I had no idea I couldn't make this smaller. This is as small as my window gets. And if I have the video window any larger, it more certainly sets off content matching copyright claim stuff. So it's more advantageous to keep this small, and I can only make this big. But last time I had the title and everything as part of the background because I was assuming that this circle would be small and would allow for it, but it didn't, so it just covered it up. So now the title and the Scribe Live and the X thing are all an overlay. The magic of broadcasting. I figured it out. We'll see how it works. The Dead Man, good evening. Who else is here? Anybody else? Zan Wild, hello. Hey, how's it going? Now, there's a name I haven't said in a while. Hope you're doing well, Zan. And Pope Tyrannus III, the Blessed Lich. Good evening. And to anybody I missed, anybody lurking, anybody in the future, good evening. Yeah, so tonight, guys, we get to talk about ladies, or we get to listen to a lady talk about ladies. Because we're going to find out about the power of women's circles, conversations of becoming and unbecoming. Now, I seem to recall, at this point it's probably a dozen TEDx's ago, something about some lady that was holding some retreats for women or something, and it all sounded a little cultish? I don't know. I haven't listened to this yet. I don't know what our speaker's going to say, but you never know. Women's circles. What could they possibly do in women's circles? What kind of conversations of becoming and unbecoming could they be? Is it talking about makeup and boys? I know. I'm just a raging sexist. You know, women in conversation. They must be talking about women things. Their kids, their pets, what they did last week, the men in their lives. All very Bechtel test kind of stuff. Delafruit Zero, hello. Pissed Off Shih Tzu, good evening. And I think that's everybody. Anyway, guys, I had a very busy work day today. Very busy. Lots of out of left field things I had to deal with. Consequently, it completely to put up a poll for the bingo card. And so I've made the executive decision to use bingo card C. C as in circle. So the links to the bingo cards are in the description below. Get your bingo card C's ready. And we'll get going here in a moment. Oh man, I didn't realize. This one clocks in at just over 17 minutes. This is a long talk, guys. So we better get started. Anybody else have to say hello to before we move on? Oh, Zan Wild. I may be a woman. You may. So there's a chance you're not? No. I may be a woman, but a retreat with a bunch of women sounds like a recipe for drama and catfights. Well, I suppose we're about to find out. And Wes Wolliver. Hi, Scribbles. I'll have to watch later. Right now, I have to fix dinner for Mom. Taking care of Mother is the priority. If I've learned nothing else in the last month, Mom comes first. Take care of Mom. I'll be here when you're done. Brian Morissette. Good evening. All right, guys, so here we go. 17 minutes of women's circles, conversations of becoming and unbecoming. Is the music too loud? I'm going to turn it down just a smidge. Just a smidge. All right, here we go.
Every conversation can be a crucible.
It's a witch trial? We had to read The Crucible in, I think it was high school. What was the character's name? Goody something? I don't remember. Mike R says sounds good. Brian Morissette says more cowbell. And Theodore Winchester says the music is fine. Okay. I think it's my headphones. I think it amplifies the music track over other things. This is a lot weirder than wearing like can headphones because everything's a little muffled. But anyway, all right. So every conversation's a crucible. No. What? Was that a preview? Was that a previously on? What the what was the? Wait a second. I did not edit this aside from taking off the musical cue thing for TEDx at the front and a little bit at the back. That was bizarre. Resolute Germ, thank you so much. If she quotes the power of many, I'm out of here. Oh, that's true. That's true. If we get some acolyte action going on here, I might get... I mean, Lucasfilm might copyright strike me. What the hell was that? Okay, I'm hoping that wasn't something terrible that just happened to my neighbor upstairs. I don't know if you guys heard that. It's like something very heavy hit the floor above me. I still hear movement. All right, well, if there are sirens outside my door in the next hour or something, I may have to take a break. Good gravy. Okay, well, mysteries abound. Let's try that again.
Every conversation can be a crucible.
Depends on the subject matter.
My story begins on a Saturday in 2007.
Your story begins in 2007. Okay, I was told there would be no math, so that's 2 less. That's 18 years ago. If your story begins 18 years ago, you're a mature-looking 18.
I was at a first birthday party with my beautiful little 1-year-old.
Ah, well, childhood or family anecdote. Let's circle that one on the board. Now, remember, guys, this is bingo card C we are on. C is in circle. Links to the bingo cards are in the description below. So childhood or family anecdote. Where did I put it? There it is, right next to Dog Cat Fox. That's a good place to be. So circling childhood or family anecdote and free space to start us off because it's free.
And I was 9 weeks pregnant and feeling it with really severe morning sickness. You can imagine the scene.
I could imagine the scene. Okay, so you're having your birthday for your 1-year-old and you're already 9 months into your second pregnancy. Okay.
There were kids everywhere. It was crazy, wild, beautiful chaos.
Okay.
Which is why it was so contrasting when all of a sudden the room went completely quiet for me.
Went completely quiet for you? Why?
I felt a bubble descend over me, and it was as if everything had slowed down.
Oh, were you in Judge Dredd territory and you took some slow-mo? Why?
Within me
Yeah.
and around me.
Why?
And then I heard a voice.
Okay.
It was gentle and it was very soothing.
So she's at a children's birthday party full of noise and chaos. Silence descends, and then she hears a voice.
And it imparted to me that my little unborn babe would not make it into this world.
That's grim. Holy cats, Derek LaRue. So I lose my voice. Pardon me, Derek LaRue. Good golly. Thank you so much, Derek. That's ridiculously generous of you. Thank you so much. Let me immortalize this with a on screen. Thanks. Thank you so much, Derek. Hope you're having a good evening, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so death visited this lady 9 months into her pregnancy, or however many months she was in, and told her, it ain't happening. Okay, things got grim.
The bubble lifted, but the calm remained. I had this sensation of having been cracked open to something deeply personal, yet also to something vastly beyond me.
If you can believe it, I hesitate in being too sardonic in regards to someone who presumably has lost a child in some way. At the same time, it's a little weird.
I called my doctor straight away.
Okay.
There was something wrong. I just knew it.
Okay, you listened to your body and it told you something. Okay.
But with no bleeding and very strong pregnancy symptoms, the doctors reassured me over and over that it was all okay. Don't worry, it's okay.
Okay.
So then what was that powerful moment?
I don't know. I'm hesitant to make any jokes about that on the prospect that this intuition of yours came to pass. Because I could say a few things if it was about anything other than the potential loss of a child.
What was that incredible presence and message?
I don't know.
1 month later, I went back for my follow-up appointment, and the doctor could not find a heartbeat.
Okay.
He confirmed for me what I had known to be true, that this bub had passed and that I had experienced a miscarriage.
Okay. So, women's intuition beats medical diagnoses?
So I was swiftly put into hospital for a D&C, and I woke up from that operation with the most incredible connection to that little soul.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I also had an incredible connection to me, my body, my knowing and my intuition, and this greater field of life, however it is that you name that, that seemed to be holding me.
Okay. I made a joke at the top of the show that just on the basis of the title, this seemed to have, you know, the mystic chords of moving into a cult of some kind. I'm not saying that's where this is going.
At once, I was experiencing the most intense heartbreak of knowing I would never get to hold my little baby in my arms. Yet at the same time, I was experiencing waves of celebration and renewal through my body.
Everybody handles grief differently, as I've come to learn quite firsthand recently.
Celebration and renewal through my body.
Yeah.
At this experience of having been returned to me.
This experience of having been returned to me.
I needed somewhere to talk.
Yeah, grief counseling, sure.
To talk through all of these things which I had no words for yet.
Sure.
I remembered a book I had been given a few years earlier, Circle of Stones, A Woman's Journey to Herself by Judith Dewick.
I mean, sounds a little self-centered, but then everybody needs some introspection from time to time, okay?
In this book, they celebrated the power of women coming together in circle.
Okay, well, one moment. Going to the bingo card, sales pitch for product or service. Circling that one. Let's go over the bingo card once. Take a moment of a mental palate cleanser here to remind ourselves what we're listening for as we go through this on the bingo card. We have, remember, this is bingo card C, DEI philosophy, word salad, mind reading assumes motives, not yet, a list, and ideally that's like a formal list of steps or things you have to go through in the course of the presentation. Marginalize, marginalization, patriarchy, we'll see, contradicts own point or fails to make argument, feminism, it's possible, attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase, also possible, systemic or institutional, anecdote that probably never happened. I don't have any reason to doubt anything she's said so far, and as far as she heard a voice and a silence descended and everything, that's so subjective, I don't know that I'd feel good saying that that didn't happen for her. I don't know. White supremacy leaves out vital context. Weightless example or non sequitur. Privilege collectivizes own demographic. I think that's unavoidable, but let's wait a bit. Self-vilification or wretchedness. I'd be surprised. Economic disparity, benevolent condescension, plays victim. Not yet. I am not going to mark up what amounts to a miscarriage and her talking about going through the grieving process as playing the victim. I'm not going to do it. Deceptive statistics, and lastly, microaggressions or unconscious bias. And remember, that's if she uses those terms or those concepts in her presentation, not that we think that she possesses them herself. So far, on the board, I have circled free space, childhood or family anecdote, and sales pitch for product or service. Others may be oncoming. Here we go. To
talk, to be, and to witness each other through every stage of their becoming, from the tiniest little girl through to the wisest, oldest crone.
Every stage of their becoming. It's growing up? Okay.
That was what I was wanting.
The crone! Are y'all becoming a coven of witches?
I knew that I'd found what I needed, but as I searched, I couldn't quite find it.
So you started your own club.
I was a lawyer back then.
Oh, okay.
Specialising in federal government law, and the women's circle space was as far from the courtroom as I could have imagined.
I think it's as far from the courtroom as any rational person could imagine. They have two completely separate purposes.
So for me, at that time, there just wasn't a fit. And so I decided to try and create one myself.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. But I mean, gosh, how do you move from a vocation where you're talking to people and convincing them of what you think about something to a women's circle where you're talking to people and convincing them or yourself what you think about a thing? Long road, I'm sure.
I sent an email out to friends and acquaintances sharing that I was yearning for a space for meaningful conversation beyond the lovely lunches we would have together and the chats that would happen over school drop-offs, somewhere with deep presence and connection and a space to truly explore.
The hair salon. No. A wine bar. a spare conference room at the local library.
That unique experience that came from the feminine.
Or out in the woods, I suppose.
6 months after I heard that voice at that birthday party, the first circle gathered.
Where? Where did you do it? What was the venue?
And I realised in that moment that it was also a metaphoric birthing of that unborn little one into the world. Those first early years of circling taught me the transformational power of women coming together for meaningful conversations in a loving and safe collective field.
Collective. Okay. Moving on from the tragedy, focusing on that. This probably isn't the last time I'm going to say this during the course of the presentation. I'll be happy if it is. Can you give us an example of a transformative conversation that came about that could only happen in a circle of women?
Month after month, we would meet to witness each other.
Witness! Witness me!
In grief and despair, as well as celebration and inspiration.
Witness me!
And what we realised is that we had created a crucible. A crucible for our becoming through conversations of our lost dreams, of who we wanted to be and how we wanted to live this one beautiful life.
A circle of women talking about their complaints, their fears, their weaknesses, their dreams. Okay.
But perhaps more importantly, we realised that we had created a crucible for our unbecoming. Deep conversations around the shedding of old beliefs and fears.
And the acceptance of new beliefs and fears. Unified beliefs and holy guacamole, Brett Ide. Stoka, holy cow, man, thank you so much. Witness me, scribe, witness me. Thank you so much, Brett. I don't know what to say, man. Thank you so much. That's ridiculously generous of you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I read your stuff on Discord. I hope you're feeling better. Hope things are on a better trajectory. And the words fail me. I know. Being an English major and everything, that shouldn't be the case, but here we are. Thank you so much. 46 and 2. Well, we got some Maynard fans in the house here. Jeez, I don't know. C. Thomas, thank you so much. Get perceived. Witness me. I could bear witness to my regrets, my fears, my longings, my dreams, my regrets. Witness me. Okay, I'm still waiting for an example. Tell me of a transformation. Tell me how, not necessarily you, but someone came to this circle and they were like this. And then after a few circles round the bend, they became like this. And how? How did they change? Why did they change? Okay, I'm going to attempt to force myself to have a psychic moment here. If she uses the word chrysalis or makes a metaphor out of a butterfly in the course of this, that's where I'm planting my psychic flag. We've heard crucible. Will we get to chrysalis?
Weighty roles and responsibilities, societal norms and obligations. A crucible is a heat-resistant container which we use to melt substances such as gold.
Yes. Are you turning lead into gold?
high temperatures. We can then reform those into their next level of being. For me, witnessing my own transformation during my time in circle with my beautiful friends, as well as their incredible changes,
Witness me! I'm just going to do that every time she says the word now.
it left me no other option. I knew I needed to leave the law. So I left my legal career, went back to university and retrained in psychotherapy and counselling, devoted to this art of healing conversation.
Okay. I mean, so far, this has been a relatively even-keeled presentation. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's that, ingrained instinct in me in watching TEDx's for so long. It's like, okay, I get it. The opening was a little odd, but then the experience of having a child pass away inside of you is probably pretty odd. So, okay, I'm moving along with you. You decided to change careers. You came to an epiphany. Fair enough. And then
17 years and some 300 circles later, here's what I've learned.
oh, thank goodness. Are we going to get to a list at least?
Women across the world are yearning for spaces to speak from the deepest parts of themselves.
And they're not lacking for them at all, I think.
To be heard with that same depth. But what I also know to be true is that this yearning is universal.
Okay, collectivizes own demographic. And also mind reading assumes motives. I think I'm safe there. So circling collectivizes own demographic, and where did I put mind reading assumes motives on this one? There you are. At the top of the card. Remember, this is bingo card C, everybody. So far on the card, to remind, we have mind reading assumes motives, free space, childhood or family anecdote, sales pitch for product or service, and now collectivizes own demographic.
This yearning to be deeply seen, deeply heard, and deeply received in all that we are and all that we are becoming.
I was waiting
And as
for
such,
witness
the conversations and the ways of being in these women's circles can easily be translated into every meaningful conversation.
Every meaningful conversation? Okay. Once again, example?
Every conversation
Example?
can be a crucible.
So was that a preview? Was that bit at the start, that was a preview of something she was going to say in the middle of the talk? I don't think I've ever seen that before in a TEDx. That's unique.
So,
A needle pulling thread.
let's talk about that desire for a deeper level of conversation and how that actually looked in the crucible.
Ooh. Examples? Please.
Of these women's circles.
Okay, go ahead.
I realised over time that there seemed to be these 3 beautiful seasons of conversation that would take place in circle.
3? That sounds like a list. Do tell.
Reconnection. Reconnecting to this incredible collective feminine, supporting a reconnection back to ourselves and this magical reconnection to this greater field of life.
Okay. Sounds like number 1. Reconnection. Did they all start with R? Are they the 3 R's? R.
The conversations would then evolve into a remembering of who we are in our quietest moments, the whispers of our dreams perhaps never touched upon or lost completely. And then that third phase would be this shining.
Wait. What was did I miss the second phase? Reconnection? Sorry. Okay. And also, no specificity. I want an example. I want an active example.
This would then evolve into a remembering.
Remembering. Okay. Reconnecting, remembering.
Remembering of who we are in our quietest moments, the whispers of our dreams perhaps never touched upon or lost completely. And then that third phase would be this shining.
Red rum. red rum. So reconnecting, remembering, and red rum. Red rum. I mean, admittedly, if Scatman Carruthers shows up in the middle of a women's circle looking for Doc, it might be worth it.
Where in the naming and the claiming, we would begin to just glow, and that glow would ripple out into the world.
Okay. Please, give us something specific. If you're only going to talk in generalities and abstracts for the next 10 minutes of this talk. We're only 7 minutes into a 17-minute talk. Come on.
Circle after circle, I would witness women step in.
How?
And they wouldn't really know why they were there or what they were even there for.
Did they know how they got there in the first place?
But they knew that there was something calling them and that they needed to be around other women for this purpose.
Example. Please. Even if you give somebody a pseudonym, just give me an example.
Whether it was for rest, a little piece of space just for them, or a deep yearning to reconnect in some other way, they would speak their stories.
I'm sure they would. Okay, I'm going to circle list on the card because she gave us a list of these 3 stages of whatever. Reconnecting, remembering, and red rum.
While every single story over those 300 circles was completely unique, there was one, without exception, characteristic that these stories all carried.
Okay, I'll take that versus nothing at all. What is it?
They were all tinged or cloaked in shame and guilt. This nagging little voice that would say, my life's good, it's okay. How dare I feel unsure? How dare I feel confused? How dare I feel unhappy? And how dare I want more?
Yes, I'm sure this is a experience unique to women. Okay, so how did you therapy your circle mates out of this inherent imposter syndrome or success guilt, whatever you want to call it?
But then the magic of the crucible would begin.
Oh, magic.
As the women shared their stories around the circle, we would all hear our own story mirrored back to us.
I thought all the stories were unique. If they're all mirroring back to each other, then they can't be all that unique. Because there's kind of a common human experience, or sort of a baseline, you know, Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey, etc.
Stories of longing and desire, shame and confusion, and then we began to melt. The shame began to melt.
Really? How? How? Just, even if you have to construct a hypothetical woman as an amalgam of several different people in your circles, just to give us an idea of how this process works. What happened? Or at least one individual experience, for the sake of argument. How does this work? I want to know. Thank you, Derek LaRue, again, for the happy, smiley Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat.
Wowee! Wow! Wow!
Ooh, there's a drunken uncle Dogcat Fox. Thank you, Derek, again, so much. Appreciate it. Okay. Guys, did you know that women sitting in a circle is a crucible? It is a place of change. It's a place of revelation. It's a place of becoming. Also, it's a place where you shed off the worst parts of yourself and turn into something else. It's almost like a chrysalis. I'm hoping. C. Thomas, thank you again. These TEDx speakers are masters of making yappuccinos that say a lot but say nothing at all. Well, it's true. I'm always hoping otherwise. But then, what is the definition of insanity? Also, there's a Satsu 2 cents here. A place of annoyance. My channel? I mean, okay. This is my friend Satsu, aka Chef Tyrone, founder, owner, and CEO of Oishi Fried Chicken LLC, featuring a new line of signature spice mixes. Chef Tyrone's homemade blends are the perfect gateway to delicious fried chicken or any other protein you might prefer. These recipes were painstakingly tested in Tyrone's home kitchen to bring you all the fantastic flavors you and your family can enjoy. The current flavor lineup includes original, spicy, lemon garlic herb, barbecue rub, and taco seasoning. You can buy individual packs of your favorite flavors or save some money with a variety bundle, all through the online store. And Oishi Fried Chicken ships nationwide. Go to www.oishifc.com and order today. So, at least he used the new pictures. I mean, I aim to achieve the lowest of expectations. Hi, Satsu. Okay. You were saying?
And when that happened, it reformed.
Sorry, I need to back up a little bit. What happened? I don't remember. It probably had something to do with a crucible or a changing or a becoming or a revelation or an unlearning in some way.
Stories of longing and desire, shame and confusion. And then we began to melt. The shame began to melt.
I'll stop the world and melt with you. You've seen the difference and it's getting better all the time.
And when that happened, it reformed in hope and possibility.
Come on, lady. Seriously. Okay. All condolences for the experience that brought you into this new vocation of yours, but we've moved on beyond that. What are you talking about?
And then came that remembering. The remembering of the deepest part of us, and then we could dare to reclaim it.
Please tell me you're talking about past lives. If we get some Jay-Z Night kind of action going on here, then maybe this will be interesting.
Dare to reclaim the dreams, the desires, what we were told we could not be.
Like what? What were you told you could not be? An astronaut? President? Supreme Court justice? A man?
And then that shining.
Hello, Tommy.
The real magic. In the naming and claiming that the woman would put forward to the circle, we would sit with her and hold it as our own.
Like what? Name and claim what? What are you talking about? Tell me. I'll tell you this, lady. You'll probably never have a man more intensely curious to know what it is you get up to at your circles than this guy right here. Okay? We're 9 minutes into a 17-minute... You got 6 minutes left. Can you just... Please.
We would not just witness it, we would champion it and amplify it.
Okay.
Her glow would be so bright. That glow from within. And then she would step out of the circle and the ripple effect began. And then we started seeing relationships transforming.
How? She was like a sumo wrestling ring or something, stepped outside of the ring and everything falls apart. Oh, the ripples went outward. Okay. I don't know how many different ways I can ask the same questions. Of course, I guess I have to at least try to match as many different ways as she has to say the same thing over and over again.
Career paths unfolding.
What?
Passions reignited or perhaps discovered,
Like?
or just a juicy, deeper sense of their own experience of self. It was pretty great.
I'm sure it was, could you tell us about it in more concrete terms?
I discovered that these spaces were not just incredible places of replenishment for the women stepping into them.
Oh, then now there's your third R. You could have used that. Reconnection, remembering, replenishment. See, that would have been great. 3 R's instead of shining.
They were also incredible acts of resistance and revolution.
More R words. You had, oh man. This needed at least a third draft.
Against the status quo.
Now it's starting to sound like a movement.
They challenged the internal narratives of who we were told we should be.
Like what?
What we should do, what we should have, as well as the systems that kept them in place.
Systems? Well, that sounds like systemic or institutional. The systems that kept them in place, a resistance, a revolution. I feel the slow boil, the frog in the pan. Talking about collective action, resistance, revolution, rebelling against the status quo. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What? Brett! Holy cats, man. Thank you so much. It's the Crucible! I guess this is the Crucible. Holy cow, dude. Okay. Thank you, dude. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. That's very generous. I'm tacking on more to the donation I'm going to make in the near future to Leukemia Lymphoma Society because of your generosity. Thank you so much, Stoka. I don't know what I don't know what to say. Is it my birthday? No, my birthday is far away. Brett is just above and beyond generous. Thank you, man. Witness. Witness. What was I saying before? I don't even remember now. The thought went. Thank you, man. Okay, let me back up a smidge. She had a lot of R words. That's what it was.
Who we were told we should be.
Oh, right.
What we should do, what we should have, as well as the
yes.
systems that kept them in place.
Right. We got to rebel against the system. She's just coming this close to talking about like patriarchy or something, but she hasn't done it yet.
The next really important question that we should be asking, having heard about this delicious transformation, is how then do we create spaces of loving and safe collective fields which are ripe for these kind of crucibles?
There it is again, collective. This all sounds very Trojan horse. I mean, just saying.
These meaningful conversations.
Are they courageous conversations? Can Glenn Singleton be far behind?
It's how we show up. It's how we step in. It's our way of being. And every circle, each woman commits and recommits to showing up in these particular ways, which bring a sacred attention and intention to this special space.
Little cultish. Starting to sound a little cultish. Little activist cell kind of thing going on here.
There are many of these beautiful agreements, and I'd like to share with you just 4.
A list and also specificity. Okay, wait, no, I can't get my hopes up. But okay. What are the elements of this circle contract?
That I think are probably the most important tonight.
Okay.
And I'm going to begin with authenticity and presence.
Authenticity. We are just, it depends on what she says. We're just one, maybe two buzzwords away from circling DEI. One buzzword alone does not a ideology make. Gets close.
We step in wholehearted.
Oh, do you bring your whole self to work?
This form of presence means listening from a deeper space. Listening not to respond, but to hold and witness.
Witness me!
It also means speaking from that deeper space.
From the diaphragm!
Not just to fill up silence or just because.
Oh.
Speaking when we feel moved to reflect to a woman or to share our own story, leaving space for the silence.
Okay, well, I reflexively have to fill up the silences because I was taught, at least peripherally long ago, that you have to avoid dead air when broadcasting. As much as is possible, avoid dead air. Always keep things moving. And also, I have to keep talking occasionally because YouTube needs me to pause this occasionally, as this is a transformative work of commentary, criticism, satire, or parody. Fair use.
It also means leaving the small talk at the door.
Really? So wait. Okay. Setting aside any, structured agenda for a particular circle meeting, a circle of women. I mean, I suppose it's possible if they have that much self-control, but a circle of women avoiding coffee talk for an entire session? Maybe it's my toxic masculinity talking, but I don't know if such a thing is possible.
Whether it's what's on this weekend or little Johnny's cricket match, it stays out here because in this space, we commit fully to being present to everything that is happening here inside us, inside the women around us, and in the space we share.
All right, so so while you're in the circle, your only focus is the circle. Your personal, individual life circumstances and worries and concerns are secondary to the needs of the circle. I'm just trying to understand the dynamic here.
Authenticity and presence.
That's number one.
The next agreement is that we come as we are.
As you were, as I want you to be, as a trend, as a friend. Sorry, a little Kurt Cobain there.
Authenticity and presence. The next agreement is that we come as we are, sad, happy, exhausted, energized, in grief or in celebration.
As long as we don't talk about what's causing those emotions to bubble up in us as we enter the circle, because that has to be left behind. Emotions only. Causes, never mind.
In our world, we have this very sanitized version of becoming, epitomized by the caterpillar bursting forth as the beautiful butterfly.
Yes! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I told you! I planted my flag! And it paid off, baby. I tells you. Yeah. Witness me! Now we know what Scribe's O face looks like. Alice, this is a family show, so I'm not going to justify that comment with a response. Anyway.
We have this story that it gets a little tight in that cocoon and then out they burst. But what really happens is that we go into that cocoon, or the caterpillar goes into that cocoon, and it completely decomposes. It turns into some gnarly, greeny yellow goop, and it stays that way.
Okay, the allusions to re-education here that at least come into my mind. Again, the further we go into this, the creepier it sounds.
Until the imaginal cells are ready to take it to its reformation or into its next iteration of that beautiful butterfly. In Circle, we make a commitment to turn up and to hold each other as the caterpillar, the goop, or the butterfly.
We accept you, warts and all, and we will reform you in the crucible to fit our image of what a successful and healthy woman looks like. We will guide you through this transformation. You'll come out on the other side ready to take on the world and battle the status quo, to resist and rebel. And you'll always have the circle to fall back on.
Third, and this can be challenging for women,
Parallel parking?
no caretaking.
Oh. No caretaking. Wait. You get in this circle to offer mutual support and an ear and an empathy, but no caretaking?
No problem solving, no advice giving.
What?
So if the
What?
woman sitting next to you is sobbing, we do not rush up with a box of tissues and a big hug.
So, what do you do in that circumstance?
We trust that this loving, safe collective field we have created has got her.
Well, on the one hand, it seems to run completely contradictory to everything you've said previous to this. On the other hand, it kind of leaves the responsibility of having to deal with your own stuff to the individual, which I can't necessarily argue with. But then, I'm confused. This is hedging into contradicts own point or fails to make argument, because if you're... Wait. You just spent a good deal of this talk extolling the virtues of everybody sharing their stories and mirroring one another through your lived experiences and so on. Even though everybody's story is unique, somehow everybody experiences similar things. But if someone is living in the moment of their emotions, you're not allowed to inquire? You're not there to... Is everybody listening without comment? Is that how this works? And I'm being as serious here as I can. She has yet to describe the mechanisms of a circle working. So...
And that she's got her. And in fact, our only job is to witness her fully in this beautifully honest experience of her life.
Witness me! Okay. There may or may not be merit to that, I suppose. But again, it seems to run counter to the sentiments you've previously expressed, so...
To allow her that piece of unbecoming, knowing we're all here for her.
You're all there for her, just not in any interactive way. Okay.
And last, but definitely not least...
Yes.
We commit to turning up and stepping into circle with compassion and curiosity.
Except when someone is bawling their eyes out right next to you, at that point, an arm's length at best. Okay. Is anybody else confused? I'm a little confused.
Again, in our society, we are almost as a birthright fed competition, comparison, and judgment.
I mean, that's how most people interact with the world. I would need an example. I don't have any hope you're going to give me one.
From the report cards at age 4 in kindergarten to the top 40 under 40 lists, it's almost in our DNA.
Yeah, how dare you track and evaluate someone's progress in their academics?
We acknowledge that this is how we show up generally in the world, and we choose to do it differently in circle.
How? Describe it.
So whether it's judging yourself because you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just not nearly as far as along in my meditation journey as the woman sitting next to me, or whether we're challenged by the life choice of the woman sitting across from us in circle, we pause and we catch that and we hold it for ourselves and we get compassionate and curious.
Unless they're bawling their eyes out and then we leave them alone. Do you get compassionate and curious silently and without spoken word or something?
So,
A needle pulling thread.
you've heard about some of these embodied ways of being.
I have heard about some of these embodied ways of being in the most amorphous terms possible.
I'd like to invite you into a little experience of this.
Ooh. My body is ready.
So,
A needle pulling thread.
if you feel inclined, take a gentle breath in and out and feel yourself sitting in the chair. Presence. I'm going to invite you to move away slightly from my voice and towards you.
How do I move towards me?
I'm going to invite you to imagine you're sitting in a circle.
Okay. I'm sitting in a circle.
You may wish to drop your gaze, close your eyes, or stay just as you are.
Am I dropping my gaze from a rooftop? Am I in the Middle East?
Sitting in this circle, in this loving and safe collective field, I invite you to perhaps place a hand on your heart, your tummy, and as you've heard my words tonight of yearning and transformation, unbecoming and becoming, goop, just notice what has gently started bubbling up for you.
Carbonation, I think, more than anything else.
Without judgment, just noticing, bringing compassion and curiosity to what that is.
Did you learn this in your psychology counseling classes? Are there magical crystals involved in this process by any chance?
Is there a conversation yearning to be born? And if so, pose this question to yourself.
I love questioning myself.
Are you yearning for a crucible in which to hold this conversation?
What conversation? Just, is it a courageous conversation? I have some experience with those.
And if so, what might that look like?
I don't know. You haven't even given me a lattice upon which I could build an idea of what it is a circle does or how it operates.
Could it be 3 or 4 friends around your coffee table in your lounge with some beautiful candles?
Sure. One. Actually, no, I'd rather it be out in the woods where we're all like banging on a drum. Sitting around in like loincloths or something. How's about that?
Could it be finding and stepping into an established group?
The AARP?
Or perhaps for you, an online program?
An online program? I have no idea what you're talking about.
And I invite you to make a gentle promise to yourself to investigate this when the time is right for you.
Am I engaging in a circle every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on my channel? Effectively? Are we a circle, guys? Is this all one big, existential contemplation of life, the meaning, the wherefores, our curiosity, our compassion, our assumptions about the world, testing what we believe against some random individual talking about some usual nonsense? Are we a circle? Am I at the center of the circle? Are you the radius? Who is the circumference? Those should be like titles of the group. It's like, this is Radii LaRue. And this is Circumference Keeverdam or something.
Women's circles are ancient.
Are you being ageist?
For thousands of years, we have gathered around fires under full moons.
So have men.
In sacred spaces.
So have men.
To talk, to listen, to share stories, healing, and wisdom.
Sure.
We can take just a little of the sacred traditions, the conversations, the ways of being in this space.
Ways of being.
And make a creative deliciousness for every meaningful conversation.
The deliciousness of women sitting around talking to each other. Okay.
To ensure that we all have spaces of becoming and unbecoming, where we can be received and held and loved in all of our messiness and midwived into that beautiful shining light.
Okay, I gave her plenty of time, plenty of opportunities, but no.
What?
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Right?
The better part of 17 minutes and just gobbledygook. Gobbledygook, gobbledygook, gobbledygook. Pseudo-psychological, abstract nonsense. So, in addition to that, also circling word salad. We'll get to the rest of the card here in just a moment. There's just 23 seconds left, guys. 23 seconds.
Because that light, that's going to change the world. That light is going to set the world on fire.
Climate change?
And gently, but surely, burn away everything which no longer serves us.
Okay, now you just stepped over the line into fiery apocalypse.
And at the same time, illuminate our collective pathway forward.
Sure. Immolated individuals are candles with legs.
Thank you.
I technically made two predictions as we started this stream. One was, I feel like this might edge into something kind of cultish. And of course, the butterfly. I think I'm safe in hitting the button a second. All right, so I'm going to go over the bingo card one more time by myself. If you have any arguments for squares to be circled, please hold on to them. I will get to you momentarily. DEI philosophy. As much as I love the term authenticity, and she did talk about bringing your whole self and so on, it didn't quite get there. She didn't quite edge into, equity or diversity in that wise, or people getting into places they hadn't earned or something like that. So not really. Marginalization. Well, I mean, the implication was that in the absence of having these circles, women do not have a space in which they can express themselves or vent or explore, and that society has set a standard that women are not allowed to break out of. So I think I'm safe in saying that in general terms, the circles were or are an attempt to fight back against marginalization. That's my argument. Patriarchy. Okay, now she never brought it up. In fact, I don't think she ever mentioned men in the first place. So the question's going to become, is simply talking about women's only spaces and women working against the limitations society has put upon them without specifying men, does that indicate patriarchy? Because women reinforce those things as much as men, as we know. I'm going to leave that one blank for now. I'm going to need a decent argument, because I could see how you'd come to it, but just saying, the negative space means patriarchy. Not enough. I need something more concrete. Contradicts own point, fails to make argument. I'm circling this one because she did contradict her own point, even if maybe in some weird stoicism type way I agree with letting somebody deal with their own stuff on their own. It flies in the face of everything she said before and seems to contradict things that she said afterwards. So in that case. Now, feminism. I don't think this one is avoidable. I think there's just something inherently feminist about everything that she was talking about, a lot of the terms and concepts. And, there is a way that she could have talked about this, about women, etc., that would not necessarily devolve into feminist ideology. But she did talk about the collective. She talked about becoming. She talked about empowering and on, and fighting resistance and rebellion. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. Okay, she repeated herself a lot in different concepts and phrases, but was anything new? I don't know. And her list of terms doesn't necessarily count. It has to be something, kind of brand namey. Anecdote that probably never happened. She only gave us one anecdote. And that one anecdote, all things considered, is not something that I'm willing to call a lie to. That there wasn't anything about that. I mean, you could say, the voice that came down and warned her that her baby was not going to make it. Again, that's subjective enough to a person's experience that I can kind of let it go. I'm looking for something a little bit more grounded to challenge. I mean, I'm open to arguments, but white supremacy, she never brought up race, leaves out vital context. Boy, howdy. I mean, at the very least, she could give an example. An example of one woman in her group that went through one of these changes, came to the group like this, and then left like that, something. No. Weightless example, non sequitur. That require an example. I mean, you can make the argument that the majority of the talk was a non sequitur. I might make that argument, but would you make that argument? Privilege. She did talk about one woman assessing her own situation against another woman in the circle. She did talk about people who felt guilty for being upset or having a hardship in their life given all their other circumstances. So, yeah, there was some privilege guilt there a little bit, you know, or looking at things in proportion. Self-vilification or wretchedness. Self-vilification or wretchedness. I didn't really hear anything. I mean, she had a terrible experience. She had some indication that something was wrong, and it was proven out to be true. But then she took that experience and apparently internalized it to her own self-glorification, which is bizarre. Maybe. And then she moved on to a different vocation. I didn't hear anything that was a self-vilifying thing. She was very self-empowering over the course of this. What's this? Fostonia! Hello, Fostonia. How's it going? Hope everybody in the chat and Scribe are doing well. I'm doing fine. Thank you, Fostonia. Hope you're doing well. Also, not Z3PO. I mentioned before. And Datura Jones, hello. She didn't give any reason to think she helps anybody. Well, again, she didn't give us any success stories. It was all, she didn't name anybody. She didn't give any specific, like I say, she didn't have to, well, she'd have to name someone. But if she said, you know, I had one person in my circle, let's call her Jane. And Jane came to us because her husband had divorced her and she was feeling lost and detached. And we circled around her. And we let her know that, you know, there's life beyond being paired up with someone else and that you need to learn how to become into something. She could have. She didn't. It would have been easy. If she's been doing this for, she said, 17 years, and she can't offer up one even abstract or hypothetical example. And this is, and just as an aside, this is a common occurrence in TEDx talks. Whether we're talking about DEI consultants or experts in anything, how many times have I asked, begged, pleaded for an active example? One, it just at the very least, one construct of what they're talking about in an understandable fashion, so I can at least envision what it is this process is, or how it works, or this, that, or the other. It's like some kind of, it's endemic, seemingly, to TEDx talks. If you've been doing something, I mean, it's very easy to compare this to a DEI consultant, someone who comes up on the stage and says, I've been doing diversity work for 20 years, and now let me tell you about the benefits of DEI, and never says anything that I could think about in any meaningful way. After 20 years, you've got nothing. After, in this case, 17 years, you don't have one story, one tale of evolution in one of your circle mates that you could bring up. Anyway, yeah, self-vilification, economic disparity. She did talk about people comparing themselves and their situations to others who may have been more successful and so on. So at least by implication, she was talking about people from different economic levels or situations being in the same circle and finding, you know, commonality despite their differences. So, benevolent condescension. I mean, part of me always wants to say, well, you didn't give us anything specific, so you're condescending by just talking down to us like we're supposed to understand. But that might just be my knee-jerk reaction. I'll leave that one to you guys. Plays victim. Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because more than once she brought up the fact that women are slotted into these expectations by society, and that these circles are necessary to break out and resist and rebel. So yes, she did, at least collectively and in her own way, play the victim in that regard. And so, if you can...
I had a dog, and his name was...
What?
I had a dog, and his name was...
Bingo!
Of course!
Our first bingo. Maybe not our last. Deceptive statistics. I don't think she ever brought up any statistics at all. So. And lastly, microaggressions or unconscious bias. I don't mean to double dip, but yes, again, she was talking about how the women in these circles had to unbecome from the narratives and limitations that have been placed upon them by society or by themselves in their own regret, their own doubt, their own fear, so on. So in that sense, I'm going to say yes. But okay, that's the card as I have it. We have one bingo so far, possibly more if you have a good argument, but it'll have to be a good one. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit. If you have an argument for a square yet to be circled, please put it in the chat now. And if I miss your argument, please just repost it. Because I'm not going to scroll up. But I did scroll up for Andy Masterson. Guys, do you know about Andy Masterson? Andy the Toy Master Masterson. He's currently in process of creating a That 70s Rock Fan action figure. It's going to come with accessories, including a sheep and a buch. He's got a buch on Pink Floyd, and a little beanie cap and a hockey stick. He's got to have a hockey stick, right? And probably like a record player. Or an LP of Steely Dan. Something like that. Anyway, check out Andy Masterson on the YouTube machine. Look up Andy Masterson. Check out his videos and look for him as a guest on, Doomcock and, where else? Midnight's Edge After Dark sometimes. And other places. He'll tell you. I'm a little addled right now. I am full of pepper jack. Yeah. And also mind fried from women's circles and everything. Okay, let's see. Scribelight plays victim. Well, I already circled it, but I'll listen. The entire concept can only arise out of her and all women being and feeling like a victim. True enough. Else, why would you say they need to go through all this to heal their... Yeah. Yep. Yeah, this... If you're not all collectively wounded, then you don't need this healing circle. Patriarchy. Okay. Better be good. I think the fact that she spoke about systems that exist and how they need to be changed and never once mentioned men is almost a de facto allusion to patriarchy. See, and that's... I am right on the edge of the fence on that. Right? I mean... anything that is women-focused is obviously in opposition to men, right? I needed her to at least say it once. I don't think at any point she never mentioned a man. She never mentioned her husband. She never mentioned, a failed relationship with a man, either in herself or one of her patients. I just needed it to happen once as an embodiment of what she was talking about. And she didn't. So if you can quote me something from the presentation, at least in general terms, but just... should I give him a Flyers jersey? Well, I mean, I think the default has to be to emulate his avatar as much as possible. So, yes. I mean, he's got to have the beanie cap. I mean, in my perfect world, you know, he'd have a set of bagpipes where the bag is made up of the Canadian flag, since he's a expat, you know, and a sheep and a hockey stick and a book and an LP. I know I'm the king of wishful thinking. What can I tell you? Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Mike R. Patriarchy. Women not being allowed to do things can only be a result of men. I'm leaning ever so closer to circling the square. I just didn't want to do it reflexively. So I'm getting close. Faithless. It's in the penumbra. The shadows. The shadow knows. Bill S. Preston. Her husband. Did you just assume her sexuality? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What have I done? A circle full of women. Obviously, they're all heterosexual. Let's see. Advocacy ability. Scribe light. Just by the omission, she is fighting the patriarchy. Yeah. Give him a Probert jersey and tell him it's the Flyers. That patriarchy was a two-parter, and you missed the second part. Oh. The omission we mentioned. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't want to make it easy either for myself or anybody else. Okay. All right. In this case, the entire focus on one gender, empowering thereof against the systems and assumptions. Fair enough. Gender roles and the opposite number. Okay. Good. Yes. Okay, so patriarchy circled. And I always appreciate it. You know, I always love when people fight for squares that lead to a bingo card. I'm maybe slightly more grateful when people fight for squares that do not lead to a bingo, because they just believe in the argument so much that the bingo is less of an issue than just getting that square circled. Asan, I don't think the talk counts as patriarchy. Uh-oh. It's about a female-only space for healing. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a fight against patriarchy. Well, the counterpoint is that she several times mentioned that the circle was an act of defiance, or an act of rebellion, an act of resistance, an act to push back against the systems that had defined women's roles, let's say. And it's tough not to think that there's some instance of pushing back against male expectations, or a patriarchal sense of what a woman should be and should do and should say and think and feel and so on. So that's the logic there. Yeah, like I said, that's why I didn't circle it myself, because like, well, she never once mentioned men, except for the son that she lost in the miscarriage, I think. So, but I mean, if you're strenuous in that objection, it'd be like saying that a gentleman's club implies a struggle against matriarchy. Well, a gentleman's club certainly celebrates men at the expense and absence of women, or female interference. So, I don't know, guys. Asan, He's pushing me back. Everything in the talk made it seem like she was talking about grief and depression in general, not specifically males. Her anecdote makes it clear that it's for dealing with grief. Well, grief brought her to this thing, but it's not only grief that is talked about. She mentioned a whole bunch of other things that could come up in the course of a talk. I think the specific mention of fighting the systems that exist and rebelling against the world when nothing is as a woman would have it implies patriarchy. That's, I mean, again, I could see it going either way, but I'm tempted towards the yes, just because there's not a whole lot left to rebel against when she collectivized all women as experiencing this thing and having to push back against the system. So I don't know. I'll give you one more bite at the apple, Asan. I could still be convinced to take it off the board, but I think you've made your point, and that's again I could see it both ways, but I'm just a little bit towards the yes side than I am on the no side. So Nazi 3PO systems of systemicity. Sure, why not? Any other arguments for squares to be circled, guys? Oh, let's see. Captain JPS buzzword. I heard of, what circles, but not women's circles. I've heard of women's circles before. I mean, it's not a new concept. I just hadn't heard, obviously, this particular speaker talk about them before. So, a sewing circle, a knitting circle. I mean, the concept of women having their own space to sit around and chat or discuss things is nothing new. She may have discovered it for herself or started her own little commune, but Tupperware. Yeah, Tupperware parties. There you go. Any excuse to sit around and do stuff. Hell, the concept was in the series The Wheel of Time. Yeah. And boy, did Amazon play that up. Okay, Asan. All I've got left is an absence of something doesn't necessarily mean an adversarial stance against that thing. I mean, you're not wrong. What do we always talk about? What do I always say? It has to be something that is included in the talk or can be reasonably extrapolated in the aggregate. Oh, it is right on the line, isn't it? Asan, you're not wrong. I just think that just by a hair's breadth, it leans into circling it. So I don't want to say that you're like, you're foolish or something. You're not. I understand that's kind of where I am too, but there really isn't anything else to embody the standards set by society. And we're talking about exclusively women. She talked about women all experience this. They're all in the same boat, pushing back and resisting and rebelling against the rest of the world and the systems in place. It's hard not to see that as, at least by strong implication, as, if not literally her saying the patriarchy, then a patriarchal construct opposing women, the entire gender. So that's kind of where I come down on it. It's just enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. Alan Thyler, thank you so much for the how's it going, Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wowie, wow, wow.
No, there's a Roan Harushan Dogcat Fox. Thank you so much, Alan. Alice Morgan, how much work goes into not mentioning men in a rambling talk this long about women's spaces? To me, this reeks of trying to come off as eye-powered but not manning. Yeah, that's the thing. It felt like, like I say, it felt very constructed not to sound antagonistic. and to try to be accommodating to an audience that wasn't going to be just women, while still implying with very little other alternatives that the opposition is men. That was thinking the lack of mentioning men at all in any of these equations, in and of itself, is suspect. So I can see both ways too. I'm just on the other side of that here. I get it. I understand. I get it, and it's completely legit. She is fighting the standards and systems that exist as a woman. She's referring to the patriarchy, or at least, some male definition. Nazi theory of spaces is getting as tiresome as Paradigm was in the 90s. Yeah, safe spaces, authenticity, bring your whole self. If it was in just a slightly different context, this might have been a DEI talk, but oddly enough, it was not. Yeah, you can find those buzzwords in places that don't necessarily have to do with DEI. And advocacy, her intentional omission of anything male screams. Yeah, it was a bit conspicuous that you would talk about women and women's stories and women's experiences and childhood and childbirth and family and everything, and never once mention a male. Except I think she said that the child that was miscarried was a boy. But that, I'm not going to read into that anymore. But aside from that, as far as any functional way, she didn't bring up men at all, which is weird. I am curious if she allows trans women Don't know. Probably. Maybe. Anyway, everybody, that is the card as we have it. We got one bingo, close to others. It was a very one-track and also abstract talk, so I'm kind of surprised we got as much ground as we did there. But there you go. That's our TEDx talk for this week. Programming note. Next week, if I'm not mistaken, is Halloween Eve, right? Next week is the 30th. Hold on. October 2025 calendar. See if I can get this correct here. Come on. Show me a calendar. Show me the money. Yes, next Thursday is the 30th of October. And I'm going to have a Halloween TEDXcellence. What does that mean? I don't know. I do have a special intro already created. I created it months ago in preparation for this. A special Halloween TEDx intro video. So after the little FBI warning thing, it'll be a Halloweeny intro. Maybe I'll dress up. What should I dress up as? I should dress up as a TEDx speaker. What does that look like? I don't know. I'll figure something out between now and next week. I am going to make a concerted effort to look for a TEDx talk, maybe a couple, maybe it'll be a marathon or a double feature, of subject matter that is at least Halloweeny or creepy, like obviously creepy, not just like by happenstance of watching it, or maybe deals with horror or something. I'll try to find a TEDx talk on vampires. Yeah, I've been watching vampire movies every weekend this month. Well, save for the weekends that I was gone taking care of Mama. So, what do we watch so far? I made a list. Where's my list? Oh yeah. So far we have watched Dracula 2000. Let's see, 30 Days of Night, Let the Right One In. Abraham's Boys. That's a relatively new Dracula sequel movie. Let's see. And so remaining on the list, for those of you that are interested in vampire movies, The Addiction, which has Christopher Walken in it as a vampire. Innocent Blood. The Only Lovers Left Alive. 30 Days of Night. Dark Days. Yes, the direct-to-video sequel to 30 Days of Night. From Dusk Till Dawn, and probably John Carpenter's Vampires somewhere in there. Although I like the book better than I like the movie, I still appreciate the movie. Yeah, John Steakley's Vampires, the novel, worth reading. Pantsuit. given the scope of my camera, I think that would be a wasted effort. But, anyway, everybody, that's the show. Let me get something ready here that I forgot to do before the show started. Can you imagine what it is? I bet you can't imagine what it is. It was an invite link for the Discord server. So let me generate that right now. There we go. All right, did you know I have a Discord server? I have a Discord server. A link to the Discord server is in the chat right now. If you'd like to join the Discord server, just click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you're not a bot, have actually watched the stream, and have thus earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is witness. Just say hello, witness, or just say witness me, and I'll know that it's you. Well, I'll know that you watched the show. Outside of that, I should be doing a Saturday stream. Dog, Cat, Fox, and Friend on Saturday to go over some news stories of the week. So keep an eye out for that on the Discord server and my Twitter. Yes, follow me on the Twitters right there. Scribe_light. And you'll see all my shenanigans on there, as well as my occasional movie poster photoshops that I seem to get into so often these days. The latest one is The Hunt for Ben Solo, the Disney Star Wars film that's not going to happen now. Boo-hoo. Otherwise, as said before, go check out Andy Masterson on the YouTube channel. Go check out Satsu 2 Cents at Fam 2 Cents. That's F-A-M, the number 2 cents on the YouTubes. He's doing commentary videos now, as well as, of course, running his business, Oshi Fried Chicken, with all of your favorite herbs and spices for your chicken or other protein, as you might prefer. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, holy cow, guys. Thank you guys so much for your generosity, whether it's to me or to the link to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society at the top of the page. Thank you guys so much. Very much appreciate it. It will be paid forward, no doubt. Everybody, hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Hope you have a good Friday ahead of you. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.